Chelsea lost 2-0 away from home at St James's Park yesterday in the Carabao Cup. And a lot of fans like myself absolutely fuming after that result. But Enzo Maresca said, we played well. João Felix played well and Kunku played well. That's why Cole Palmer never needed to feature in this game. So we got plenty to talk about with the Carabao Cup game. We can also briefly touch on Man United, although there will be a preview tomorrow. Welcome to everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. Big up to everyone in the chat. Let's smash the like buttons if you are in the building. Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't already. We are talking all things Chelsea, and this is a live call-in show. Have your say, join the conversation, and let's break everything down bit by bit. We are streaming on YouTube and X as well. Okay, so let us know if you have any questions. I will be answering, as well as the panel in future. But yeah, I mean, let's get into it. Let's talk about the game at hand. Let's talk about everything relevant to do with what's going on at the moment. Now, I did a review of the game earlier on my own, so I will briefly touch on some of the things I've said for those of you who haven't watched, but I really want to hear what a lot of the panelists have to say. But yeah, I mean, really, really disappointing result against Newcastle. Can anyone disagree with that? I mean, I expected more. And I think anyone that watched the whole game, that saw how we played in the home game in the Premier League, I think you expected more as well. Enzo Maresca hasn't really put a foot wrong since he's come to Chelsea. Pre-season wasn't great, let's be honest, but what does pre-season tell you? I mean, Pochettino's pre-season was unbelievable, which says that actually in a lot of ways you just need to test things out. Good things will happen and you'll make mistakes as well. Ultimately, it's just about finding out what you want to do when the serious games come. But since competitive football resumed, we've looked good. We've had a structure. We've had a clear identity under Enzo Maresca. But most importantly, compared to last season, we've actually started off quite well, getting results, maintaining the quality of our football. You know, we're not winning ugly. We're winning the games and we're playing quite well a lot of the time. But yeah, Newcastle for me was not a fun experience. And listen, all the credit in the world to Newcastle. They deserve some credit. I'm not going to sit here and say they were terrible. But I do think that ultimately they took the competition much more serious than we did. And that's the harsh reality is if you don't take the competition seriously, of course, you're not going to get anything from it. So, yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Big up to Crazy Bear. He says, hello, dude. I really want to see Casady play yesterday. Yeah, honestly, I don't even think that's a bad shout. Monaco disaster. Having the ball at the wing was like playing Jorginho in the wing. We are going to break everything down, guys. I'm going to go for a couple of minutes on my own, and then I'm going to put the link out into the chat. And anyone that wants to join can join. We will have Kevin in the panel as well, maybe one or two others, depending on who's available. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to reassess this game. I didn't want to come and stream and be reactionary. I wanted to have a clear mind, because I don't think it was as clear yesterday as what it is now, because obviously I traveled all the way up there. I went up to Stoke and then I met Kev. We drove up from Stoke. It was about a 4.5 hour drive. Basically took me the whole day to get to Newcastle. £100 trip, missed work, missed out on potentially earning money. So it was an expensive trip. A lot of people decided not to go to this game. Matt Dav, Lewis, goodness, loads of people. Nino wasn't there. Charlie was. Big up to Charlie. Father was. Jacob was as well. So a huge amount of respect to any of the Chelsea fans that decided to make the trip. You have my respect. And it's not easy to commit and take the time out to follow a match and then be let down like we were by the team, because ultimately I felt let down. and I think a lot of you probably feel the same way as I do. This team is capable of so much more, but the problem is it was a totally different team. So player for player, we have nothing in common with what we had in the Premier League. We didn't have the same goalkeeper. The defense was different. The midfield was different. The wingers, the striker, no Palmer, no party. We definitely weren't partying up in Newcastle. I'll tell you that. It was, quite a depressing ride home in the grand scheme of things, knowing that we've gone all the way up to watch a pretty lackluster performance. I think you could make an argument that was the worst performance of the season. The worst. I mean, we played better than we did when we lost to Servette or when we played Servette away in Switzerland. But it was underwhelming, wasn't it? There was just such a lack of energy. Enzo Maresca says that the players they're always happy with the effort they put in. I just think that we lack quality. And sometimes when you lack quality, it looks like you're not trying as hard. I do agree with that. But there's certainly areas we can improve. I don't understand why some of the players that were playing did play. How can they play? And why would you bring other players if you're not even going to give them a chance? I mean, how the hell is Chukwuemeka going to feel sitting on the bench doing nothing? Kasady sitting on the bench doing nothing. Palmer. You didn't bring Reece James. You didn't bring Lavia. You didn't bring Kasady. You didn't bring any of these big players. You didn't bring Jackson. But you decided to bring our best player, Cole Palmer, and you didn't even use him. And the excuse was, Nkunku and Felix were doing great. Well, I don't know. We're going to dive into all of it. So I would argue they weren't great, because if they were great, we would have won the game because they would have scored. That generally seems to be how it works when you've got a striker and a number 10. They contribute. That is great. But yeah, listen, big up. We've got 100 people watching now. 59, well, about 60 on X and 40 on YouTube. Can we get up to 40 likes on YouTube? Smash the like button, everyone. And listen, it always helps. Any form of support is absolutely massive. Smash the like button. Let's get straight up to 40 likes. Keep me posted in the chat as well how many likes we have, because I can't even see. Doctor, just that guy. We weren't that bad, to be honest. What do you mean when you say that, though? Because I'm not going to sit here and say we were terrible, but there are a lot of aspects where we were terrible. So I'm not going to take that as I don't think you think everything was great or okay. Where do you think we were okay, and where weren't we? Let's get specific today. We have two right backs, but Maresca still went with Disasi. This is what I'm talking about. And we're going to break it down player by player. We're going to go into the depths and take a deep dive. What the fuck is Disasi doing? Excuse my language. I apologize. I won't swear anymore. But listen, Disasi at right back is not the one. He's never been the one. So why is he the one now? I don't understand. It's depressing. It's depressing, to be honest, thinking about it. I look outside. It's pitch black in the UK. And it's not even 6 o'clock and it's pitch black. It's such a dark, gloomy... Anyway, I love doing this. And I'm glad to be on with all of you. And I hope you're having a good evening. I hope you've had a good day. Those of you who have been working... And hopefully, those of you who want to join the conversation as well, let off a bit of steam. Let's have it out. Because there are questions that need to be asked. And there's good and there's bad. And let's talk about all of it. Just because things are bad doesn't mean you can't talk about the little good that's in there. So we're not going to be 100% negative, but there is a lot of things that I don't agree with that Maresca did in this game, or didn't do. And Disasi is certainly one of them. Disasi and Badiashile need to go. Bring back Chalobah if we make a big loss. Unfortunately, my friend Mo, I do not think that is going to happen. Although I would love that to happen, I don't think it will. And that just being for the reason that we'll get pure profit for Chalobah. And from an accounting perspective, it's going to look a lot better than selling Disasi or Badiashile, because you probably won't make your money back with those two players. And whatever you sell for Chalobah, you will make a profit, which ultimately will allow us to reinvest in other players. Not to mention the fact that we've loaned him to Crystal Palace now. I think we've made our bed with Chalobah. He's not going to come back into this team and have a chance. That it has been made very, very clear he is not wanted. So if you're not wanted, listen, that is absolutely fine. It's not a good decision, in my opinion. I think that Chalobah still has a lot to offer this team. And everyone said I was crazy when I said he was one of the best defenders in this team. Also very versatile. Can play as a right back. Can play in a back three. Can play in a back four. The only player who has won things at Chelsea. Colwell never won a trophy with Chelsea at senior level. Fofana hasn't. Gusto hasn't. Reece James has. Fair enough. Chilwell's being forced out, so I'm not counting him. Cucurella hasn't. So I just like the fact that we got a player. Forget the fact that he's homegrown. He's actually won things with this team. Why would you not want to keep that? Just strip every little bit of success that we've had. I don't know. I don't like this stance of who cares about Carabao. We should take every competition seriously. Fans pay good money to see the squad play. You are absolutely correct, Isaiah. And yeah, I can tell you from experience. I mean, I will break it down. We've got time. We've got lots of time. I woke up at 7:30 yesterday. 7:30. So not nothing silly. Anyway, I had to leave the house at 8:30. Got a train from where I live, which is next to Reading, just before 9. And then after 9, I got the train from Reading to Stoke. That's about a 3-hour train, 2.5-hour train. I then met up with my friend Kev, my good friend Kev, who's going to be joining us later in the show. And Kev drove me from Stoke to Newcastle. And that was about a 5-hour drive, 4.5 hours. So in total, I've probably spent about 8 hours traveling to get to Newcastle. 9 hours if you include breaks, maybe even longer. About 9 hours, let's say 9. And we get to Newcastle, we think, you know what? There is actually a chance we can do this. We did it in the home game. Let's take this seriously. And we saw the lineup. And the first thing Kev said, we're in trouble. Disasi's right back. That's the first thing he said. I'll give him credit for that. I didn't know what was going to happen. We had a completely changed 11. To be honest with you, I didn't even know what to expect. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more first team quality in there. 11 players changed is quite big. It doesn't get any bigger than that, does it? So I didn't understand why we had to change absolutely everything. And then we watched the game, and it was poor. It was poor. It was poor on the eye. It wasn't enthralling. It wasn't motivating. I didn't like the approach. I don't think we were very direct. I think I've seen a much more direct approach from Chelsea in the past, even with building the ball. You can have possession and still pass the ball forward, guys. I mean, that is a thing. And I know we do pass it forward, but there's a lot of moments, maybe you don't know this when you're watching on the TV, but we're in the stadium and you can see a clear pass. And I just think it's very passive at times. It came across very slow. And that frustrated me a lot, because we're coming in this game and these players have never won anything, the majority of them. You want to compete for this trophy. You've never won a trophy. And that's what annoys me. We left St. James's Park, obviously very, very annoyed. And it was as simple as that. We drove back. Now, I knew Kev wasn't going to last the full journey home. I knew he wasn't. Because Kev always falls asleep when he's driving. So we got to Leeds and he had to sleep. Fair enough. I mean, I don't want him to crash the car. That's fair. And we woke up and we got back to Stoke at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Can you believe that? And by 9 a.m., Kev was getting ready to set up for his football session because he's a football coach. He was getting me putting the cones out. Alex, put this cone here. Get this. Put this. I'm thinking, oh my God, I've barely slept. I'm setting up a bloody football session. I'm not a football coach. He dropped me off at Stoke train station. I got the train back home and I streamed straight away, which was about 1 o'clock, something like that, 1:30. And then I worked. I had a lesson. I'm a coach as well, guys, but I don't coach football. Yeah, now we can talk in more depth about everything. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Isaiah. You know, I took a whole day to go and see this game, and we can talk about the process all we want. And I believe in the process. I'm a believer. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe. I'm feeling more belief than I have felt in a long time, and I think that's justified based on what we've seen so far. But as a fan who goes and pays money, I do feel like if I'm annoyed, I'm allowed to say I'm annoyed. I mean, this isn't rocket science. What am I supposed to do? Smile and wave, boys, like Madagascar? No, I'm not smiling and waving. I was very upset. Daniel says we're only on 9 likes. Oh my goodness. We've got 50 of you on YouTube. Come on, guys. Smash the like button. Let's get up to 30 likes. How about that? 30 likes. Let's pace ourselves. Let's start off. Can we get to 30 likes? That's only 21. Big up to everyone that's in it. We've got 135 people so far. 87 on X, 48 on YouTube. I hope you are all doing very well. I will be sending the link out shortly so everybody can have their say. Whew, here we go. What is the point of bringing Cole Palmer, then not getting us? I think I know what you mean. Well, yeah, as we alluded to earlier, it doesn't make much sense. But Maresca said it's because Felix and Nkunku were great. So I'd be interested to see if you guys agree with that. I don't. Felix, my goodness, I have no words for him. Wasted money. I agree but disagree. I don't think he's a waste of money. I think it was a good investment. Everybody is talking about Gallagher. We sold Gallagher to bring in Felix. That's what people say. And that is true. I guess the deals, they were combined, weren't they? But Felix ultimately is a player that suits the system. Gallagher would have never suited this system for me. He's not technical enough. I liked Gallagher. I thought Gallagher was a great player under Pochettino. I'm not even saying Felix is a better player than Gallagher. Same with Dewsbury Hall, right? Another quote-unquote replacement. But they are suited to the system, and that's proved with Dewsbury Hall from last season at Leicester. Tactically, he knows what Maresca wants. Whether he's able to carry that out with a team like Chelsea is another question. But Felix has had good games. He was good in Greece. He scored against Barrow. He was always going to be a rotation player when competing against Cole Palmer. So I don't know why we're complaining about this. This is something that we already knew. Wasted money, slightly inflated, yes. But if you look at his deal, if you look at Jadon Sancho's deal, the money that Atletico Madrid paid for João Felix, the wages that they paid João Felix, the money that Man United paid for Jadon Sancho, I'm just using these guys as an example, and the wages that they paid Jadon Sancho, and then we got them both much, much cheaper, and both were happy to take pay cuts. So I'm very happy to have players like that at my football club who genuinely have that potential. And Felix has potential. He's not the guy who's going to win you a league, but I think he's certainly good depth for a top 4 team. I think he improves Chelsea, 100%. And I think even though he missed chances, he was definitely not the worst player on that pitch. Definitely not. Felix and Cucurella for me were two of the best of a bad bunch. Tell me if I've missed someone else. But off the top of my head, I thought Cucurella was okay, and I thought Felix was okay. But in terms of Felix's finishing, obviously very poor. We can all agree with that. Should have scored at least 2 goals in this game. And if you have Cole Palmer in that position, you know that you're going to score those goals. But we didn't have Cole Palmer, and we can't just rely on Cole Palmer. This is a team game, guys. Why did we not use Gusto yesterday? I have no idea. I would have used Gusto. I would have had Disasi or Tosin or Badiashile, one of those players on the bench. You can still rotate. Like, we're not even saying don't rotate. Rotation's a good thing. I like seeing different players getting minutes because it gives us an idea of who is progressing, who's improving. If someone else drops their standard in the first team, who's going to take their spot? Now, Lavia is a great example. If Enzo Fernandez continues to perform in the number 6, maybe there's a bit of pressure on Lavia. But Fernandez is not performing, and Lavia is. So that's not going to happen. Mudryk, another example. Could he take Jadon Sancho's spot? Bear in mind what we saw against Newcastle yesterday. I think we can all agree the answer is no. So, yeah, very frustrating. Playing players out of position. And, yeah, annoying. Zul doesn't think we're going to get top 4 this season. My prediction has always been 5th, which is still good enough for Champions League football if English teams do well in Europe. But for me, it comes down to injuries, and you saw it yesterday. No Palmer, no Partey, and it wasn't just Palmer. I mean, Palmer's not the whole problem. But what if we did have Palmer in that game yesterday starting? Do you think we would have got a result? There's certainly an argument to be made about that because of the chances that we created. And we know that Palmer generally buries his chances. So I don't want to say too early in the season that we need to get top 4. Well, of course we need to, that we are going to get top 4, because one injury can change everything. And right now we have 0. And that's what frustrates me the most about this performance, is the fact that even with no injuries, we took no risks. I'm not asking you to start Reece James or Lavia, but there are other players who are capable of playing multiple games in a week. Not every week, but some weeks. Why can't we do that once? I'm not asking for the world here, because also now that we're in this situation where we're not in the Carabao Cup, we're not going to be able to rotate as much. And yeah, listen, there's still going to be plenty of competitions. We've got the Conference League with the FA Cup, plenty of fixtures in the Prem, as well as the Club World Cup in the summer. But I want all of the players to have a chance to play as much football as possible. And we want to progress in as many competitions as possible. It's good for team morale. So yeah, I just didn't understand what Maresca was thinking. I don't think the approach was a serious one. And even if the starting 11's bad, that is just part of it. He created another problem by not doing anything to rectify. One substitution when you've got 5 is not good. That is not acceptable. Agree, disappointed with the loss at Newcastle, but I feel good about having a fully fit team for United. Tottenham won, but at what cost? Mickey van der Ven out. That's a fair point. That is a very good point. Santos has not been given game time, but from what I'm seeing from Enzo, I prefer Santos to him. He needs to pull his socks up. Big up everyone in the chat. Brian, I hope you're doing very well. Love Brian. Big up to Brian. He is not cutting it, my friend. He is not cutting it. You see him going to AC Milan. It's a very bold statement. Don't think AC Milan are going to be coughing up the money, though. That's the problem. Moita said, slept around 0-0 just to watch that football. Shame. This one, the manager is to blame also. We were playing Newcastle, for crying out loud. I wouldn't disrespect Newcastle too much. Newcastle are a good team, and they played a strong team. But that's not the issue. The issue is that we made no effort to match even remotely what we played on Sunday. Even if we would have played 3 players, like 2 players, I personally, I would have liked to see 3 players from Sunday playing on Wednesday. Gusto on the right. In fact, you could probably get away even without doing that. Like, if you want to seriously think about not rotating, what Maresca could have done is he could have played Cucurella on the right, which we've seen once before with Poch, and it worked really well. And you could have had Vega on the left inverting. You could have had Caicedo, giving Enzo Fernandez some support defensively. You could have had Jackson. You could have had an actual winger. You could have just started Madueke, to be fair. Stop crying, just the Carabao Cup. Well, Nichelle, maybe you're a bit late to the party. At Chelsea, we like to win trophies, not just take part in them. Literally should have been the same setup as the Panathinaikos game. But the problem is it's not Panathinaikos, it's Chelsea. And that is the dilemma, is we know that this team can beat teams in the Conference League. We know that. We're aware of that. We've seen that. But I do believe when you get to slightly higher levels, and Newcastle is a higher level than Panathinaikos, you just need to take it a bit more seriously. Don't change the whole team. Just change segments. Small segments. Right. The link is coming out, people. The link is coming out. Join me. Let's see what you all want to say. I've had my fun. Now it's your turn. How many likes are we on as well, guys? Let me know how many likes we're on. We've got 180 people watching. A few more on X. We've got some on YouTube as well. Have we got to 40 likes on YouTube yet? Can we get to 40 likes, guys? Right. But what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to praise? What am I supposed to do? That's my question to you, Nichelle. Am I supposed to compliment? Hey, it was great. It was fantastic. What am I supposed to do that? Come on. Let's be real. I'm positive. I'm the positive one. If you've been watching this channel for the past couple of years, you know me. I'm all about giving people time. I'm all about trusting the process. I believe that processes are a real thing. I do believe that. And I understand that things take time. But this is the 3rd year of the process. The 3rd year. Every year we've improved. Every year. We went from Havertz, Mount, players that didn't perform at all. We stripped everything, all of our experience. We then brought in players who had never even, some of them hadn't even played like more than a season of professional football. Some of them hadn't even played professional football for a full season. We took massive gambles last year. And for that reason, we had to give it time to break through. But this season, I do think we've got to be a little bit more cutthroat, guys. And we need to appreciate that, yes, I understand there is still a process, and I'm all for it. But we're here to win, guys. How many years do you accept a process before you say, I've waited quite a long time now? What is the breaking point here? Huh? What's the breaking point? You tell me, guys. I don't know. That's where I am at the moment. Zim, big up to you, my friend. I hope you're well. Yeah, but Maresca is the process. That's the point. He's the one who's been chosen to lead this campaign. So by trusting Maresca, you are trusting the process. Who is better, Mata at Chelsea or Ozil at Arsenal? I think we'd probably have to go with Mata at Chelsea because Mata scored more goals than Ozil. Ozil was probably better creative, better pass with the ball, but Mata scored more goals and he still got assists as well. So he had better GA in his best season, definitely. God, I remember that season. Unbelievable season by Mata. Big up to Mata. Who's the player you missed the most at Chelsea, guys? Who do you miss the most? Mata has got to be right up there for me. He's got to be right up there. Right. What's the latest? When Maresca was asked about the referee, he said, I prefer not to talk about the referee. Classic. We lost the game because of 10 minutes. After that, we lost control. We need more control. But it's not only from Enzo Fernandez, it's in general. Maresca says he didn't bring Palmer on because he thought Nkunku and Felix were doing well together. What do you think about that? In the last 5 years, Rudiger, good choice. I'll give you that. That is a good choice. Right, we're going to break down these teams, guys. We have to break it down. First of all, oh, what's happened there? What's happened to my screen? Right. Up the BBC. Yeah, statistically, if we break this down, what do we think about this, guys? 65% possession, 34%. We had 17 shots. They had 8. 4 on target to 2. 4 shots off target to their 6. And all of the blocks came from Chelsea's side. Although that start can't be correct. There must have been a block on YouTube on Newcastle's side as well. That doesn't sound like a good stat. And then we had much more touches in the box than they did. Their goalkeeper made 4 saves compared to our 1. We won the majority of aerial duels. We had 9 corners. They only had 1. We committed relatively equal fouls. So statistically, based on these stats, you can understand and you can roughly understand why Maresca appreciated parts of this performance. So if we're looking at it from that perspective, that's fair enough. But yeah, I don't think you can just look at possession and that's it. That you've got to have a little bit more to your argument than that. If it was just about keeping possession, nah, not for me. Not for me. Mourinho would have never won a trophy. Diego Simeone would have never won anything. So you've got to do more on the ball without just having the ball. I don't understand it at all. It really annoys me when people think, oh, you have to play this brand of football all the time. Why can't you make exceptions to just go and win games? Now, I still believe that you should have a style, but this doesn't signify that we played well. We had 17 shots. How the hell does that even make sense? Oh, I see. Okay, I was going to say 4 shots on target, 4 shots off target. That's 8, but they're including the block shots as well. Okay, that makes sense. So we didn't block a single shot that Newcastle had. 0 blocks. Well, that just makes me feel worse. How many likes are we on, guys? I don't even know. We've got almost 200 of you watching. Big up to everyone that's watching right now. So statistically, we dominated. We made their goalkeeper save more. We won at more aerial duels. We had more corners. So what went wrong? What went wrong? We've never had a great record at St. James's Park. But what went wrong? Let's start off with Newcastle. Can everyone see that properly? Yeah. That is a relatively strong lineup for me. They've taken this game seriously. They've decided, you know what? We need to win this competition. This is a home game. We need to go for it. Let's make something happen. Pope in goal. Stability there, unlike us. Lewis Hall, Kraft, Shaw, Kelly. I don't know which of those players didn't start in the Premier League. I'm not sure if Kelly did. Let me know in the comments, guys, who didn't start in the Premier League. Longstaff, Tonali, Joe Linton. I know that they had Bruno Guimaraes as well, was on the bench. He came on in the second half. Anthony Gordon returning. Isak caused us so many problems. Willock on the left as well. Now, that's not a great Chelsea side, but it's a great Newcastle side. To be honest with you, as it stands right now, like in this team, pound for pound, if we're comparing it to what we have, there's quite a few players I'd take from Newcastle. If you were to compare our midfield to Newcastle's midfield based on what we saw on Wednesday, Vega, it was not as good as Tonali. Fernandez wasn't as good as Joe Linton. Nkunku was nowhere near Isak. Dewsbury Hall wasn't as good as Anthony Gordon. Kraft over Disasi every day of the week. The defence from Newcastle, you take Shaw and Kelly over Tossin and Badiashile. And you take Willock over Mudryk based on the performance, not to mention Nick Pope as well. It's crazy. It's crazy. It does open your eyes. I mean, on paper, you look at this team and you say, you know what, these guys are going to be nowhere near as good as Chelsea. This is before we knew what we were working with anyway. And they just outperformed us. They totally outperformed us. We got outclassed. We've always struggled at Newcastle anyway. It's one of our bogey grounds, but we were outclassed in this game. And Eddie Howe, they didn't do anything special. They didn't even do anything particularly different from what they did at Stamford Bridge. But what they did was effective. It worked well. And they managed to cause us a lot of problems, especially when you look at the battles individually. Willock on the left-hand side. Who's he against? He's against Disasi. He was all over him. Joe Linton making runs in. I remember there was a chance in the first half where he hit the post. And one of the things you would have noticed, guys, is that, you know, the way they have it here, obviously there's a bit of width with Disasi, but Disasi wasn't actually here a lot of the time. You can see where my mouse is, right? He was closer to here. So there was this gap. And there was a time where Joe Linton was making a run and Dewsbury Hall was the player who was meant to be tracking back. And he lost the runner. And that's when Joe Linton hit the post. So that wasn't actually Disasi's fault. I think that, to be honest with you, I don't think he would have just done that. I think Maresca would have said, this is what you need to do to try and make it easier for him, because we saw him playing at right back against Bournemouth. He wasn't good enough in that game. And, you know, when he's spread, it's not good enough, is it? It's ridiculous. So Yeah, I think that Maresca tried to make life easier for Disasi, but you don't play him in the middle. You're already making life too difficult for the guy. You know, I like Disasi as a player, as a centre back. I think he's okay. I think he was a good player under Pochettino. Not a great player, a good player, but he never suited Maresca's style of play anyway. And now you're not even playing him as a centre back, you're playing him as a right back. You're asking for trouble. Jack thinks that Maresca did the right thing in fielding them to see who was what? Oh, who was worthy to play in the Premier League. Yeah, you could say that, but that's a big risk. And now because of that, we're out of the competition. So do we need to make those risks on a consistent basis? I mean, if we keep making those risks, then we're going to struggle in these cup games. Yes, I remember last season Alex being positive. Even he needed not to. I was like this guy. We are criticizing because we can and we need to do better. Big up to you, my friend. After seeing United put their strongest 11 against Leicester and us playing this weekend, I'm glad we rested our Premier League team. The 2 goals that they scored were from bozo mistakes. Is that what you think? Well, you're right. Obviously, you're right. That's more of a rhetorical question. Yeah, terrible mistakes. Terrible mistakes. We've got the link in the chat as well, guys. So if anyone wants to jump in, they can. Kev was meant to jump in. He sent me a voice note. Should we see what Kev sent me? What did he send me on the voice note? Oh, he's just seen the link.
Alex got me up there, man. Alex got me out there, bro. Starting to me now, don't it? I gotta fucking step up.
Oh yeah, Kev's going to be on the United stand, by the way, before the Man United game. So that's going to be fun. He's going to be doing the preview in Manchester for the United stand. How funny is that? They literally said, he messaged them and he was like, because he went on there last year, and he was like, "Oh yeah, do you want me to come on again?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure. Can you come on at this time?" And he said, "No, because I'm going to the game." And he was like, "Oh, why don't you just get me to the studio?" Thinking, obviously, that's not going to happen. And they were like, "Yeah, come down to the studio." That is hilarious, isn't it? So, yeah, big up to Kev. I wonder if he's coming on. He's seen the link. Are you coming on? Send him a message. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, pound for pound, we look so much better. But on the day, Jorgensen wasn't great. Disasi was poor. Tosin was poor. Badiashile was poor. Fernandez was poor. Vega was poor. Dewsbury Hall was poor. And Kunku was terrible. Mudryk was poor. Felix was meh. And Cucurella was okay. That's if you want like a quick player ratings, that's my quick player ratings. I would like to be able to do this in a bit more depth, but nobody's joining the bloody call. Usually it's a little bit more busy than this, guys. But fair enough. I will carry the show on my own if I need to. Of course I will. Let's start from the beginning, people. Let's go pound for pound, player for player. Let's break it down. Jorgensen. This man, we have been saying this man needs to start ahead of Robert Sanchez. The fact that Robert Sanchez is still starting games for Chelsea is criminal. What are we doing, Maresca? Why are you putting us through this? Did you not watch our season under Pochettino? Did you not see the mistakes, the points that were cost, the silly passes, the silly passes, the silly passes? You get where I'm going with this. Well, they weren't even to our players. Is that a pass? What do you class that as? Just a poor distribution all round. But Maresca's decided, listen, Sanchez is the number one guy. He is the man that I am going to persist with this season. And there is no doubt about that. And I say, fair enough. You know, listen, you're the manager. It's up to you to make this decision. But also, Jorgensen, we thought this guy was going to overtake Sanchez. We all thought, you know what, they're going to have a good game for Jorgensen, and then he's going to be in ahead of Sanchez in the Premier League. And now we look at it and we think, as father says, two cheeks of the same arse. Is that what he says? Something like that. I'll pull up the clip. Two cheeks of the same arse. What a quote. I love that. But that is not good. We want quality in goal. We just want stability. No matter who is in goal at the moment, we don't seem to have it. I mean, Jorgensen was fantastic when we were in Greece. I was really, really pleased with his performance. I thought he made some great saves in that game. And yeah, now we've got people saying, not sure if Jorgensen is any better than Sanchez. And that's a very, very fair point. Although I would say that we haven't really seen enough of Jorgensen to judge him. It's only been one game. How we doing, my friend? Zimmer, is that how I pronounce your name?
Yeah.
Hello?
Like the song. You hear me?
How we doing, buddy? You okay?
I'm good. Thanks. Thanks for asking. Yeah, man. Yeah.
What
Not
do
too
you
bad.
think about
Yeah.
Jorgensen?
Jorgensen. He's good, man. He's what they when I say like a well-seasoned keeper. But in terms of the game yesterday, it's hard to build on a like sinking sand, you know. So like the foundation for morning yesterday, they really did. You know, the formation from the get-go did out, you know. So there's not much you can do when um body even the goal was scored against you. The first goal, Body Shield literally looking at Vega's face and passed the ball to him while him under pressure. You get me? Like Body Shield couldn't see Vega back. He couldn't do Vega scanning for him, you know. And the Newcastle player come down on him and still push the ball out to him. You know, nerves definitely can play a part. But come on, at some point you have to be a professional. And yeah, so in terms of Jorgensen, very good keeper, but not much he couldn't do to not show nerves yesterday. We have to be like a fully clutch player to not be so nervous yesterday. Yeah.
So when you look at the goal we conceded, let's look at the goal where the ball was given away. I can't remember if it was. I think it was it Vega or was it Fernandez? I think it was Vega, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Vega gave the ball away, but it came from some sloppy passing, and then
Body Shield. Sorry, go ahead.
And Jorgensen, he couldn't save the shot. I mean, personally, looking at it, I do think maybe he could have done a little bit better, but also it's difficult because what's his name? Isak was practically one-on-one with the keeper. He's not going to get many easier chances than that. But I mean,
Isak,
the things went wrong
for
Jorgensen. I mean, do you think that he was the issue, or was it the defense in front of him?
Yeah, the defense, like being a keeper, that's why there's not much. That's why keepers are so like highly searched for. Like them, it's not like you can just find keepers like where you can find midfielders or strikers. You know, them is a heavy profile to be a top profile keep. They're top keeper. So, God damn, I'll do some shit attack. What was it? What you say again, Alex?
I was just saying. So, do you think that it's Jorgensen that was a problem, or do you think it was the defenders in front of him that made his life more difficult, or both? Maybe they were both bad. What do you think?
Yeah.
Kev?
Hiya.
How you doing, bro?
Tired. I've had no sleep all day.
I told them about the trip.
You know, I honestly never catch what you say because.
Oh. 'What's that, Zimmer?
What's that, Zimmer? 'What's 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 that, Z Bit of a connection problem there, I think. But yeah, so no, I was telling everyone about our trip, and mate, that was a mad trip. That was mad. Honestly, Newcastle away is not for the faint-hearted. But thanks for jumping on anyway, Kev. I mean, we were starting with Jorgensen. I was saying how everyone hyped him up to replace Sanchez. We needed a good game, and then obviously it's not been his best performance at all. But how would you summarize it?
Not his fault. Not his fault. When look, we was Newcastle away. If anyone's been there, it's a good place to go. It's a good stadium to go to because you can see everything. You're looking down, you can see the whole pitch. When Jorgensen's got that ball, yeah, this is basics. This is basic stuff I teach my under 14s team. When a goalkeeper's got the ball, you don't just stand. You don't just stand there. Your wing backs do not just stand there. They've got to be going like this. Moving out. I say to my lads, make sure there's paint on your boots. You make that pitch as big as possible to give the goalkeeper an option. What that does then, when the goalkeeper's got the ball, your two wing backs go out wide. That then takes two of their players out of the mix. So you get more space to play through the middle, or you get space to play to the right. So instead of having one option or two options in the middle, then creates four options. The players in front of him never made it easy for him because there wasn't moving into the positions to receive the ball. Simple as that. It was hard for Jorgensen because when he got that ball, he looked up, he was just playing straight for the middle. Newcastle knew what they was doing. They set up little blocks and little traps to press us into our own box and kept on getting that ball. How many opportunities did they get? Yes, last night. And we talked about the same thing at Liverpool. We're talking about the same things, but we're talking about last season. When you're playing at the back, you've got to be more smarter. Everybody wants to play this play out the back football, but you have to have the personnel. You have to have the players to play it. Man City do it good because they've got the players to do it. Arsenal tried to do it for years and years. Only started doing it now because they've got the right personnel. Chelsea have been trying to replicate it for the last few years. It works when we've got the right players on the pitch. The sassy right back. We can see, me and you were watching, Alex. We can see the sassy was in the same, the area. It was in the same width as the area. On a goal kick, when you're meant to be a right back. You want to play at the back like that. Why is your right back in field? It was not making no sense to me, brother. The sassy should have been going soon as that ball gets put there, the sassy should have been like bang, straight over to the right side for an option. Wasn't happening. And we continue to keep doing it and making the same mistakes and losing the same goals, losing the same games. So it's down to the manager. And I haven't really pointed fingers at the manager this season because I believe he's done really well. But yesterday, the performance is completely on his head. Like, you can't keep on playing the players at the wrong position because it then puts pressure on the defense. If you're playing the players in the wrong position, it puts the goalkeeper under pressure because he wasn't comfortable. You can see he didn't look like if he wanted to go long. He wanted to go short because there was no options, bro. So how can you blame Jorgensen? It's the manager who sets it up, not Jorgensen.
I'm with you there. Now that's a fair point. I mean, some people don't rate Jorgensen at all. Why do you think people are not happy with the goalkeeper then? If there's the players around him that haven't performed and not entirely his fault.
It's easy to point fingers. Obviously, we were watching it at the game. Like I said, when you're watching it on TV, it's totally different. But when you're actually at the game, when you're sitting high up and you can see everything, we can see everything. It wasn't Jorgensen's fault. It wasn't. It's easy for people in the chat to say, "Oh yeah, it's Jorgensen had a stinker." But for me personally, he hardly put a foot wrong. What did he do wrong last night? Nothing. Oh, how can we blame Jorgensen for last night? It was the whole team. It was everything in front of him letting him down, not Jorgensen.
Okay, so what are we going to give Jorgensen out of 10, Kev? 1 to 10. What's his rating?
You have to be a 6.
6 for Jorgensen, yeah?
Only because he conceded 2 goals. But we cannot judge the goalkeeper when he's playing with a back 4 that hardly played the game together. Disasi Badashile, yeah. We still got Tosin, who's fairly new. We've got Cucurella, who's coming back, let's say, from... We've got Cucurella, who's coming back to form. So you can't blame him and give him a bad rating. I don't think it was his fault yesterday. So I think 6 would be a fair result, but a fair rating.
6 out of 10. Fair enough. Let us know what you guys think. What rating would you give Jorgensen? Let's go on the left. Let's move with Cucurella. What did you make of his performance? Personally, I thought he was actually okay.
Solid. He was pretty solid. He was the only player that actually looked like he knew what he was doing. And he got let down massively, again, by what is in front of him. And this is what goes to show. When you're playing through the channels, every part of the pitch has to be moving in sync. So Cucurella was getting that ball out of left. And how many times did I call it, Alex? Mudryk was all up that pitch by himself. Was he making one run down that line to come receive the ball? Where did he see it happen? So what was Cucurella having to do? Go back, recycle, or go back to the side into the trap? Because Mudryk was lazy and not in the game. But Cucurella on the defensive transition, he done his job properly. When he had to get a tackle in, he done it properly. When he had to get forward, he done it properly. But he was made redundant by the players around him. Mudryk was not making the right moves to help him out. So Cucurella, it's got to be 7.
7 out of 10. It's hard to give much of a higher rating because whatever you do, if you are around players who aren't performing, like you said, it makes you look worse as well.
Yeah. Alex, it's a team. Tell me about it. It's a team game. End of the day, it's not an individual game. It's not tennis. It's a team game. Everybody has to be moving in sync, from the goalkeeper to the defense to the midfield to the attack to the wingers to the striker. Everybody has to be moving in sync, because if someone's not moving in sync with the team, say for i.e. Mudryk last night, terrible performance. Let's be real. I think I counted on one occasion where he got that right. He ever played right back on the 1-on-1 and tried to take him on. And we could see the width of that pitch. The width of that pitch at Newcastle was very wide. And when you consider that he had one-on-one duel with their fullback in that game,
we'll get to Mudryk. We'll get to Mudryk, but we'll start.
Yeah, we'll get. Sorry. Yeah.
But you get carried away.
Yeah. But Cucurella didn't have his best performance, i.e., because of the players around him. Same as Jorgensen. The players around him wasn't making it easy for him. So I think Cucurella did his job properly, but the lads let him down. So 7 would be a fair rating for him.
Okay. We move along to the first centre back, Badiashile on the left side. We gave up on him. We then thought maybe there's some hope after making a good impact when he came on against Liverpool. I thought he'd done really well when he came on at Anfield, but it just didn't really look like there was any leadership in the middle. It was chaotic. It was confusing. How else would you sum it up?
Mayhem. It was horrible. I couldn't watch it, bro. I couldn't watch it. Tosin, how many times did that guy just slow the game right down? And when you slow the game right down to that pace, what do you think is going to happen? He comes at the back to your defender and he slows it down. What do you think Newcastle are going to do? And what did they do really well last night? Press. And then it went back to... And then what happens then? Tosin goes back to Jorgensen, which puts his goalkeeper under pressure again. So can you see the cycle that I'm on about? It's like the whole team wasn't helping each other. There was kind of putting themselves back, going backwards. So Tosin, every time we were talking about now, the back two, Tosin and Badiashile.
Badiashile, and then we'll go on Tosin as well.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. So Badiashile. To be fair, I don't think he was that bad. I just feel like the team collectively let him down. There was a lot of runs in behind. Isak especially was trying to break the lines. No one was really picking him up. There was no communication between him and Tosin. So it was hard for him. It was hard for Badashir there because the players around him wasn't helping him. I'll probably give him a 6.
Fair enough. So you don't think Badashir? So it's interesting. The first 3 players we've gone through, you don't think that they've had a particularly poor performance?
No. But we're coming to the other side of the pitch now, which we'll talk about. So
let's go with
Tosin.
Tosin. Yeah.
Awful. He slowed the game right down, and there's a couple of occasions where he passed that ball to the opposing player, gave the ball away on a couple of occasions, and put us right in the thick of it. Too slow. You're not Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva could do that. Thiago Silva had a long ball at his disposal. He had a short ball. The way Thiago Silva used to ping that ball is a bit like Cole does, but with his right foot. But even better, Thiago Silva wasn't doing it. Plus, he's not that guy. So for him to keep on slowing that game down, inviting pressure, he's putting the whole team under pressure. So when I talk about Tosin playing bad, if Tosin plays bad, Hughes at the side of him by the Sheila. So it makes him look bad because he's always under pressure because of the mistakes Tosin's doing. So Tosin had a stinker. I'll give him a 3.
3 out of 10, guys. Do you agree with that? Let us know in the chat as well. What do you think about Tottenham's performance? If you were to sum it up with one word, don't use the swear word.
It was Tosin. She was like, yeah. Well, that's what it was. It was Toss.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Toss from Tosin. There you go. Tyrone says 2 for Tosin. Listen, we might even. I mean, 3 is a pretty harsh rating, and we might get lower. We've still got players.
All right, Alex, give me literally 1 second. I've got to do one thing. One sec.
He hates Disasi that much that he has to prepare for Disasi. He hates him that much. That is my guess of what's happening. I feel like Kev's just bigging it up a little bit. Tyrone didn't even see Tosin in the game. Merhul says Tosin was all right. He was punching down good forward passes. Do you agree with that, guys, in the chat? Do you think he was positive with his players? The opposite of what Kev's just said. Kev said he kept passing the ball backwards and slowing it down. I know there was 1 or 2 passes, but I do feel like we need to see a little bit more, guys. 1 or 2 moments is, if you're a striker, you get away with that because those moments result in goals. If you're a defender, you need to have many moments, many good moments. If you're not having those moments, then ultimately you are underwhelming. Yeah, because it's your job to give the ball to the midfield or go further up the pitch and try and break that first line of the press, or get the ball in there before the other team can start pressing, which we didn't manage to do. And I agree with Kev in the sense that Tosin was slow, and he has been slow, and it's annoying because I like this guy. I've been hyping this guy up a lot, but I don't think that he was effective in this game. I don't think he was effective at all. Not to mention that, and we're going to speak about this as well, the own goal from Disasi was actually, first of all, Nkunku blocked it, there was a deflection, but actually Tosin should have won the first header. He was nowhere to be seen. In my opinion, Tosin should have won that. Here's the tallest player on the pitch, or one of the tallest players on the pitch. Yeah. And he's not in a position to win that first header. And I do think that as a defender, you've just got to be in the right place. And I didn't see him in those places. I mean, Kev, what do you think about the Disasi own goal?
Sorry to go again. You do like trick or treat, so I'm getting about 5 knocks every.
Yeah, it's
half
Halloween
an hour.
over here in England, guys. If you're watching abroad, it's Halloween.
Yeah, so if I do shoot off, I'm going to give that some sweets, kids some sweets. So yeah, but Disasi, it was poor reactions. Poor reactions. That's the word I could use for it. Not only that, well, he was just so sloppy and robotic, and he moves so. How can you have such a big, huge guy playing right back? He's sickening to see, bro. And when we was walking into that ground, what was I saying to you, brother?
Yeah, you were like, this is going to be a long day.
I was saying to you that we fucked. Just actually right back, done. And my man goes and scores an own goal within 10 minutes, bro.
I shouldn't laugh.
And
I
puts
shouldn't
no,
laugh.
it's like, bro, it's not even rock, bro. We are amateur cam guys, bro. At best, yeah, that's what we are, bro. Even we know we can't play this assy right back, bro. So why can't the professionals, i.e., Enzo Maresca and everyone else, how comes they can't see it, bro? Why do they continue to play this guy right back, bro? He completely slows the game down. He doesn't read it well. He's sitting, he's playing against Anthony Gordon. So on the one-on-ones, he's going to get absolutely dusted. Doesn't to it. Doesn't come out to make the pitch wide. I could go on and on about this guy right back, bro, but we still
We've got
continue.
time, Kev. We've got time. I've got time.
You might have time, but I ain't had no sleep yet, so I might not. But
Well, listen, someone else will jump on. You take all the time you need. If you need to get all this off your chest just for the defense, fucking out. Another knock on the door.
No, not yet, not yet.
Oh, not yet.
To be fair to you, I can't really hear now because I turned
There you
these
go.
up. So,
there you go. Just keep the headphones on, and then you'll be fine.
so
How are we doing, Carlito?
Hey, I don't have my headphones on, so I'm doing this on natural sound. So sorry if it sounds like shit.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Alex, I just wanted to bring up one quick thing. Now, this could be a bad source. That's fine. Jem's already said to me it's a bad source. I don't give a shit. This does play into what you British people call an agenda. This is mine. Enzo Fernandez is linked with Real Madrid, and Aurelien Tchouameni is linked the other way for us. And I want to know what you think about that.
Fucking all day.
All day, by the way. All day.
Fucking all day. Look, I'd give Real Madrid 100 million and take too many for free. That's how shit ends on friends.
See, that's the thing is I would pay them to take
Fucking
Enzo too. I
Yeah,
think
it is. Last night, brother. We'll get onto him in a moment.
Yeah, we're working our way up, Carlito. So right now
No.
we're on
Alex, I wanted to get your quick reaction because I just got that guy's reaction. It was fantastic. Alex, what's your reaction to this? Because I know that you feel the same way as I do, that this guy is 5 steps behind everybody else because he simply doesn't have the athleticism. Like everybody else is athletic in the Premier League. This guy's playing beer league.
I mean, that is brutal. But, I mean, you're not entirely wrong. But we will get to Enzo. I promise you, we will get to Enzo. We're going to finish with Disasi, and then we'll go straight on to Enzo.
Well, I mean, shit, how long do you have?
All right, I've got time.
All right, fellas, I'll let you be. But it's a doozy. One to think about.
Are you not staying on, Carlito?
I'll stay for a little bit. Fine.
Yeah, you can't just come on and then bounce straight away.
All right.
You come on and give us some breaking news and thought, fuck it, that's it. See you later.
I'm just looking for some Mishi Bashuai minutes, man. I'm not looking to start. Give me 2 minutes. Let me score a goal against Walker. Come on now.
I love it. I mean, Carlito, what do you think about Disasi?
Oh, he's bad. Here's the thing, and I'll be very clear. When him and Badiashile first joined, and they joined at different parts of the year, I thought they were both pretty positive. It's very strange to me and almost alarming how every week they actually seem to get worse. And they started on a high, right? Badiashile and Disasi both started on a high. They both had a good few first games for Chelsea in their debuts. And then ever since then, they've gotten progressively worse every single week. And I don't know whether that is something psychological in them where it's just compounding. They have a bad game, And then the next week, they're overthinking things or overthinking passes. Badiashile, you see him searching for passing lanes way too often for way too long. So maybe they're overthinking it. Or maybe they just got really lucky in the first few games with Chelsea where we're sitting here thinking to ourselves, wow, it's pretty decent players on our hands for not a bad price tag. I like this. We love French players at Chelsea. So it could either be they got very lucky and they showed us something that they really weren't, or they're both in a mental fugue state where they're just getting worse and worse, Alex. And it's not helping that none of the fans like them. And it's not helping that none of the coaching staff really trust them outside of midweek games, even though we can't really consider yesterday to be a midweek game. That was a Premier League game, man. But I think that it's mental. And I also think that they may not be very good. And it could be as simple as that, Alex. They could have just started really well, and that would have been a false representation of where they're really at.
I mean, I think we definitely overpaid for both of them. But this is the problem.
That much.
Sorry?
Disasi was what? 27?
No, Disasi was more than that. Disasi was close to 40.
Really?
And then I think Badiashile was about 30 something, 31, 32 million or something. But yeah, Disasi was even more expensive than Badiashile, if I'm not wrong. I'll double check that very quickly. But yeah, I mean, we're paying a premium because it's European.
Badiashile was 35, and
Disasi would have been 42 or something.
Oh, I hope not. 38. So 35 and 38.
So Disasi was a little bit more expensive. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's not great at all. This is the thing as well. Mehul makes a good point. I mean, he's isolated in that position as well.
Right back, dude.
Sorry?
He's way too slow to play right back.
Yeah. But also, Kev was saying earlier, and I completely agree with him, Disasi wasn't going wide like a normal right back would. He was much more compact. He was staying close. And I think that was tactical. I don't think that was, something he just did. I think Maresca probably said this is what you can do because he saw Bournemouth when he was at right back and how poor that was. And, we couldn't have a repeat. Really.
The other thing that is wrong with these two guys is that the time that it takes, the sequence, right? When you receive a pass, then you get a touch, right? Your prep touch, you pick your head up, you make your decision, and then you actually get rid of the ball. Both of these guys, it's way too long. It's way too long. Like they're almost intercepted constantly when it's just a quick switch. Like let's say ball goes from Badiashile to Tosin to Disasi, right? So Disasi's prepping his body, his hips are square, he's receiving his first touch. Then he picks his head up because he doesn't make his decision until he already receives the ball. And then he takes another prep touch, and then maybe he changes his mind, and then he makes the pass. Constantly, he's about to get intercepted. And it's because he takes way too long on the ball, and so does Badiashile. Both these guys, they don't process it quickly.
I think Badiashile was better, though. He gets rid of the ball quick. I mean, he did it well against Liverpool when he come on.
No, his pass has a snap to it, but what I'm saying is that he'll search for a while before he makes the pass. There's a difference. But you're right about it. Like, once he decides to pass, yeah, it snaps. He's very good at that. But I think he searches for a while, man.
I'm with you. Okay, I understand where you're coming from.
Cool.
So what are we giving? Good to see you as well, Gaming for Life. Thanks for jumping on.
Big up.
What's your thoughts on Disasi?
Oh, Disasi. You know what? I'm just tired of seeing this guy playing our right back. I'm just sick of it. Like, I don't understand why he would play Gusto at right back against Newcastle and then Reece James at left back. You could have just played Cucurella in that game. And maybe played, I don't know, he could have played Gusto or Reece James in this game instead of just playing Disasi at right back. That legit, yesterday, that was probably one of the worst performances of the season so far for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Maresca got it wrong. Our two best players right now, yesterday was literally Mudryk and Cucurella because they're the only ones that were trying. playing
Interesting.
Dewsbury Hall at right wing. Like, I don't understand it. You could have put Felix at right wing and put him in his natural position. Like, Felix was just greedy yesterday. He was just shooting. He weren't giving Nkunku he wasn't giving no delivery. Like he was just. The game yesterday was just a mess. Maresca got it all wrong yesterday.
I'm with you. Collie, we're going to give Disasi a number 0 to 10. 10 being great, 0 being as bad as it gets. What are we giving Disasi as a rating? Carlito?
Oh, you asked me. Oh, at the rating? Sorry, dude. Sorry.
That's all right.
I hate when guests do that too, so that's my bad. A rating? I don't know, 3, 2.5.
We gave Tosin a 3 out of 10.
Well, I mean, you got to incorporate that own goal, that beauty he scored for Newcastle. So probably a 2. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, don't blame the player for that." Oh, I'm blaming the player for that, bro. Come on.
Yeah, no, that wasn't good. That was
no bueno. Yeah, it's they're not covering each other in glory, and when you've got guys like Aaron Anselmino, who's a ready-made, already very good player. I know him well. I watch Boca, and when he comes in January, it'll just be more competition, and it's going to be less time for these two Monaco guys.
I'm with you. Okay, we'll go on to your favorite, Carlito. Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, he probably touched the ball 100 times last night. I don't care. He played D mid. He's not a D mid in the Premier League. He might be a D mid in Argentina. He might be a D mid in Italy. In fact, he probably could be a D mid in Italy. In the Premier League, which I consider yesterday to be a Premier League game. Oh my God, is he so slow? Especially when he's going up against a guy like Joe Linton, who's one of the most athletic players in the Premier League, and he's a kind of a midfielder attacker hybrid. It's just insane to me how outmatched Enzo Fernandez is physically. Now, again, yes, if he receives the ball and he has time to take his touches and to pick his head up and to find great passes, then sure, he can be effective. None of those things are allowed in the Premier League, especially in a high-stakes game. They're just not. And one of the best things that Enzo is great at is probably a 40-yard ball, 10 yards in the air. You know, not a floater, but not a bladed ball, something in between that would get, beyond the outside back or beyond the center back onto a running forward that's not overhit and not underhit. He's really good at that. I didn't really see it yesterday outside of a few times where it was simply overhit to João Felix or it was underhit to Nkunku, and that's supposed to be his bread and butter. That's supposed to be his Fabregas skill set. So again, Enzo Fernandez, I don't care how many times he got the ball. I don't care all the stats that Matt DeBono of Absolute Chelsea is going to show me. Oh, Enzo Fernandez got the ball 95 times and his pass completion was 97%. I don't care because all those passes were to the center back. None of it was effective. So the best thing that is about his game, he didn't even utilize yesterday. And that's because I don't think he's a very good player. 4 out of 10.
So when you talk about his passing and the fact that he was passing backwards, I mean, do you think that was entirely his fault? I mean, for example, when we look at Jorgensen, Kev, rightly said that he wasn't given much help by the back four, which I would agree with. Do you think that was the same with Fernandez, with the players around him?
Oh, well, look, I mean, like if you have a defensive team, and Newcastle sets up defensively, at least against us, you're going to have a lot more passes to the center backs and outside backs. But Enzo is specifically suited to play dangerous balls even against defensive teams, and he didn't do it. So if that's what he's best at, and he wants to play D-mid where he has the most time on the ball, because if he's playing more advanced in a crowded midfield, he'll have less time on the ball. He'll have less time to search for creative passing lanes between the half spaces, which is between the center back and outside back. So if he has more time on the ball as a D-mid, and the team is playing defensively, so you're going to need a killer ball, or you're going to need a ball that at least breaks one midfield pressing line, and he's not doing it, then why is he there? If he's not doing that, then why is he there? So no, I'm not going to blame the center backs for that. I'm not going to blame the defensive shape of the other team for that. I'm going to blame him for not utilizing the best part about his game, which is a 40-yard ball, 10 yards in the air over a defender's head. That is his best pass. That is the best pass that Fabregas had. And he wasn't doing it. It's like, okay, well, then why are you there? Why are you playing the Pirlo role if you're not playing like him? What's the point? I don't want to see you pass the ball to Badiashile 50 times. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, do you agree with that, Gaming for Life?
I mean, yeah. I mean, let's be real. We were basically scared to even play the ball up front. Realistically,
Yes.
we were scared to.
Yes.
We were scared to attack him in the first and second half, and that's the reason why we conceded that first goal. Because look at that defense. Right? We were literally so scared to pass the ball. We were so scared to clear it. Every time Enzo or someone would pass it, boom, they would get off us like that. They were pressuring us, and they just couldn't handle it. We couldn't handle the pressure from them. So realistically, Enzo was just not good enough. I'm sorry to say, everyone was just horrible. Like even Dewsbury Hall wasn't good in that position. Why are you playing there? Why are you gonna do this, especially against a decent team like Newcastle? Like he has players on the bench where it's the first team starters, and he only puts Madueke. Why did you not put the rest? I don't understand what's Maresca's game plan. We can't be doing this against big teams. Yeah, you can do it in Conference League, but not when it comes to Premier League, because that's how we're going to get punished. And we got punished by Newcastle because we were just scared. We were just absolutely shocking. And Maresca's got to hold some responsibility for that because he got it wrong as well.
I never understood why Maresca played Fernandez as an 8. I don't think Fernandez is an 8, so it's interesting.
He's a 6.
Yeah, he is a 6, but Carlito, you don't think he's a 6? Because I would class a 6 as almost, it's not a DM per se, but it's that same sort of position.
Hold on, guys. Let's not overcomplicate this game. Coaches don't actually talk like that. It's just D mid. It's the center mid that plays in front of the center backs. Whatever you guys want to call it.
So we're thinking of the same thing.
Call it a regista, call it a 6, call it a D mid, call it a holding mid, call it the Declan Rice special. I don't give a shit. Look, he was playing closest to the center backs. When the center backs go out wide,
that's his best role, in my opinion.
Okay, but it's his best role. But that also means that he is the last line of cover before the back line, who shouldn't be stepping into that space unless it's to win a ball. So he's literally the last guy before there's forwards and the back four. And if that's the last guy, you're in trouble, man. Especially, again, against probably the most physically imposing Premier League team, them and Nottingham Forest. I mean, there's just some big dudes on Newcastle. There's some fast guys on Newcastle. And you got Enzo playing center mid, D mid, holding mid in front of the center backs. I mean, sure, you guys want him to play the 6 because he'll get the ball the most there. But you also need to play defense. And that's the worst part about his game.
So how do we compensate for that?
Sell him.
But is there something that we can tweak tactically, or are we literally just saying, I mean,
Alex, no, I'm saying he was a huge mistake.
Clear of Enzo. Thank you, Brian, as well. Appreciate the super chat.
I'm just saying it was a huge mistake to buy the player. And sometimes that happens, but it doesn't often happen that the player cost $136 million. I mean, I would say 3 of the biggest high-profile misses, 2 of them happened at Barcelona with Griezmann and with Philippe Coutinho. Oh, God, yeah. Those are 2 of the 10 most expensive transfers, but the other one is Fernandez. That's another one of the maybe 6 or 7 most expensive transfers. So those 3 right there, you just look at them and you say, those were huge misses, and you really hope the next time you don't get duped buying a player on reputation instead of actually vetting the player. Because if we had watched the player a little bit more, you would have noticed that in the Argentina games where they won the World Cup, he had some unbelievable center mids playing right next to him that made him look a lot better than he really was.
So you think he's a player who almost like the cherry on top. If he's got people doing the dirty work next to him, then you're going to see the best of Fernandez. But if you don't
do any defense, then sure. If all he has to do is to receive the ball between the back end of the center circle and the front end of the center circle, and all he has to do is just pick out passes, then yes, he's a great player. But that's not football.
That's fair. Kev, what do you think about Enzo Fernandez? Are you back yet, or are you still trick or treating? I am going to take that he is still trick or treating. Fair enough. Let's go with a rating then, Collie. You said 4 out of 10 for Enzo Fernandez. Do you agree with that game of life?
Do I agree? I think he deserves a -1, really, with them passing. Like, let's be real.
-1.
If his passing was great yesterday, and we actually made something good, I would say, you know what, Enzo gets a 6 or a 7. But his performance yesterday was shocking. No,
-1.
I simply can't sit here and say Alex, he was good.
That's worse than Disasi and Tosin.
Oh, they were absolutely atrocious.
So you think Fernandez was worse?
Yes, every single one of them were worse yesterday, except from Mudryk and Cucurella. And I can't really blame Jorgensen for them 2 goals because I don't know what we were doing defensively.
Yeah. Alex, this guy says, Chelsea Boy 1234 says Enzo is a World Cup tax. That's a Twitter idiom. A World Cup tax, and they'll have to cut their losses. I don't know, man. I mean, they've continued to extend his contract. Now, I think if you're looking at amortization, there's probably 6 more years on his original deal. So 136 divided by 8. I don't know. What is that? 20 million, 19, 18 million. I think if we could get Aurelien Tchouameni and maybe 20 million back, I think we would be able to justify it financially.
Yeah. Well, I think Enzo Fernandez is on about 180 grand a week as well. So it's not like he's got a small salary.
Yeah, it's a decent salary for sure.
I mean, he's one of the higher earners. He earns more than Cole Palmer. Palmer's on,
which is a disgrace.
Well, these deals were done at the beginning of the Bowley regime. These are the same players where Ben Chilwell and Wesley Fofana are on 200K. I think Mark Cucurella is on 180K. Obviously, Raheem Sterling 325. That's obscene.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys don't make a lot. I mean, most of these players, outside of Reece James, who makes 250, Reece James makes the most money on this team. That's actually currently playing in this season.
Don't even get me started on Ben Chilwell. He shouldn't be on that much anyway.
That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
It was an original contract.
Let's move on to Vega, guys. So we've had our. Oh, Kev, you're back.
Hey.
You all right, Kev?
Right, sorry, brother, I was a bit busy.
How many sweets have you given out today? How many kids have knocked on your door?
Too many.
Too many.
Too many.
Oh,
Too many.
You know what, boys? You are going to love this one. You're going to love it. Guys, speaking of Enzo Fernandez, Matt Dav.
Oh, this is funny.
Matt, how are you doing, mate? Oh, no. The sound's fucked, Matt.
It's in his fucking car.
The sound, is he in the car, is he?
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
I would have loved to get a debate on Enzo Fernandez with Matt.
Yeah, I mean, Vega kind of looked like he was out of position yesterday for me.
Let's just try it one more time.
Oh, so is that where we at then? Viega and Fernandez, yeah? Is that where we got up to?
Yeah.
Well, if Matt's here, I would love to know what he thinks about Fernandez. Matt, can you hear us? All right. Matt, let me know in the private chat when you've got a connection sorted.
Vega.
All right. Let's go to Vega, boys. Let's go to Vega. So in terms of Fernandez, not a lot of nice things in the panel. I mean, Kev, do you agree with that? I mean, we didn't get a chance to speak to you.
I don't see nothing of him. That Fernandez and Viega yesterday, he told me what they did. I couldn't tell you what they. it was non-existent. I
Facts.
think when they actually did get on the ball, it even went backwards or sideways. There was nothing going forward, bro. It was like there was playing it back, and you got to think when the ball comes back, passing is going to play the ball back, and it's just backwards, sideways, and nothing's coming forward. When it does eventually go forward, everyone's that deep back in their own half that you get left with a 1-on-1 or a 2-1 up that side of the pitch. So I just didn't get the tactics today. What was the tactics, bro? Why would you not play Dewsbury Hall centre midfield next to Fernandez? Why would you not start a right winger? Madueke, anybody to start a right winger, right wing. I just don't get what was going on there. And Diego, we all know that guy's better suited on the left.
Yep.
He's a left back. So why are you playing the left back centre midfield? Like, I just don't. Okay, it's good to have versatility within your squad, but when you're playing against a team as Newcastle's quality, you need everyone playing in the right position, bro, because they're going to capitalise on the weaknesses. And throughout that team yesterday, brother, there was weaknesses through it. Disasi, Diego, look at that right side, brother. Every player on that right side is not playing in their right position, bro. So what tactics that? Think about it, brother. That all right side, you got a centre back playing right back, you got a fucking centre midfielder playing, you got a left back playing centre midfielder, and you got a fucking centre midfielder playing right wing on that side there. So your right side is completely fucked.
Yeah, Kev, did you see every time Dewsbury Hall would receive the ball on the right side, he had to cut inside or cut back because there's no way he was beating Lewis Hall on the dribble.
backwards.
Oh yeah.
Dewsbury Hall, back to Viega, look up, oh no one's on, back to the Sassy, back to the keeper, the press. That was it.
That's these guys that do that on the wing think that people believe that they're actually doing something. No, they're actually just giving up on the play. Like, at least with Madueke, he doesn't give up on plays. This is last resort is to cut it back. He wants to go at these guys, but all these wings that just cut it back, bro, you're giving up on the play.
So what are we going to give Vega as a rating? Gaming for life, what would you give Vega?
Oh my god.
A 4.
I'm gonna give him a 2.
You're brutal, mate. You are absolutely brutal.
Thing is, Alex, what do you want me to give them? They were all poor yesterday, except from other players. I don't know. We were just shocking. Overall, nothing went forward.
No, that's
we
fair.
were just scared to attack him.
For Fernandez, that was harsh. But I mean,
he wasn't the greatest.
I would have loved Matt to come on air at that point. I would have loved it. Matt, if you can hear me and you're watching this,
what's he going to say?
Loved Matt
Enzo Fernandez, mate.
Do you know what? At this point, I don't see Enzo Fernandez. I see him getting sold next summer.
Yeah.
Who pays and how much do we accept?
Real Madrid are probably going to go for him.
Why?
You're asking me, Alex. I don't know.
Cruz.
Real Madrid going for who, sorry?
Enzo Fernandez. There's rumors about that.
Enzo Fernandez would suit the Spanish style of football. He really would. I think he'd go to Real Madrid and probably shine. And fair play to him. But mate, it's not working for him right now.
Real Madrid want to do a swap deal where we get Chimameni and they get 100%. Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, 100%. Take it. Take
the
money and run.
There's a reason why Fernandez would actually work. I was listening to somebody, I think it was Ali Moreno on ESPN, talking about Real Madrid's center midfielders. And you got guys like Bellingham, great player. He's a runner. They kept calling him a runner. Same thing with Tchouaméni. Same thing with Valverde. Same thing with Camavinga. These guys are very athletic. They're good. Like, especially Valverde, he's a runner. But none of them can really pick out a Toni Kroos type pass. And that's what their analysis was for someone like Fernandez, who is certainly not as athletic as someone like Valverde or Camavinga, but maybe is a more adept passer. That's where I actually see him fitting in a team where they have a lot of midfielders that are kind of similar, but he would be very different.
Yeah, that's a fair way of putting it. I thought like Lavia is that guy for us. Lavia can.
I love him. I fucking love him.
Yeah, Lavia is that guy. Enzo Fernandez What was that? I didn't even get a chance to speak to you about him. What was that last night again? He's meant to be our captain, brother. Where was the leadership? Where was the passion? Where was the fight? Where was anything from this guy? No one can come on the show and tell me that Fernandez has been good for Chelsea. This guy has been a 2 out of 10 since he's been at Chelsea, bro.
Yeah,
I've seen nothing from him. I think the first 5 or 6 games he was good when he first under Paxa, but since then,
season. And then,
he has been below average, brother. And yesterday again, I picked out about 5 times where he played passes back to the back 4.
Yeah.
And he put us under so much pressure. I counted about 2 or 3 times where he put the ball forward and either didn't go to the player or he hit it to an opposing team. As a centre midfielder, your job is to keep the ball, brother. Your job is to make assists. Your job is to be clinical and keep the ball in tight spaces. What is Enzo doing right now? He's not doing none of the above, bro.
Tell you what he was doing. He was adjusting his captain's band on his arm to make sure it wasn't covering up all his tattoos, man. That's what he was doing consistently yesterday. I got to be real, bro. Look, would you keep playing these balls to someone that's not Jackson or that's not of his size with his back to the goal and someone barreling down his back, we're going to lose it. Like if you play a ball to Nkunku who's checking in and there is someone right on his back, we're going to lose the ball. I even think with Zhao that happens too. Unless it's Jackson, who is an unbelievable turner of the ball, who is unbelievable with his back to the goal. If we keep playing these balls to these forwards where they've got someone on their back and they're facing our own goal, we're going to lose the ball. And Fernandez played those passes a lot yesterday. And every time he did, I'm like, we're going to get stripped. We're going to lose the ball. We lost the ball again.
We just got punished.
Yeah.
Right. Dewsbury Hall, right wing.
What?
Here we go.
Oh, my life. Painful.
Yeah.
Painful.
Do you know what that reminded me? That reminded me of watching Gallagher playing at left wing last season.
Yeah.
This is the thing, though. Maresca, like, I don't know why he done it last night. I don't know. This is the thing. This is what I said to people. Stop getting carried away. Like, it's taking the game it comes. Don't get carried away because this guy is still inexperienced, brother. And last night proves how inexperienced he is. Do you think, I have to mention, do you think of Jose Mourinho back in 2005, 2006 season when we won the double, won the Carling Cup, won the Premier League? I remember we went to Newcastle. I remember it like yesterday. 2004, 2005, went to Newcastle. Robin scored an absolute fucking weldy. He played the best team against Newcastle, and we went on to win the Carling Cup. And that's down to Jose Mourinho's mentality. Fucking Meska went yesterday and played the shittest team I've seen in my fucking life, bro. Mentality. Where you take every game as it comes and you play your strongest team. You don't play a weakened team, especially against Newcastle, brother. As soon as I seen the lineup, I was like, I was thinking, Master Pot me even stepping in the stadium, brother. The game's done. And within 10 minutes in the game, he's 2-0 down, brother.
Kev, I got 2 things to say to this because you made up some really good points that I totally agree with. Number one, there's a guy on Twitter, Couch Critic. He's a good dude. He's a good dude, but he's going back and forth with me today, and he's talking about how the medical staff is monitoring these guys, and if they're in the red, they shouldn't be playing. And he keeps telling me that they think they know when they're about to get injured. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that's ridiculous. I find it to be absurd. And the other thing is that these guys are playing once a week. It would not kill Madueke, who is a good player. It would not kill Madueke to get 55, 60 minutes yesterday as a starter. And the other thing is that Jadon Sancho, he missed the game because of illness. So I played for 27 years. I mean, I played college. I played semi-pro. I was a good player. Dude, I never missed games because of the fucking sniffles. I mean, unless it's like COVID or something, which I can't imagine he has. I mean, I know this happened a lot last year as well. Yeah. Illness? Really?
No, well, I am on the fence of that. I kind of understand science, and I kind of understand the importance of having science within football, because it's clear to see the turnaround with the injuries this year is fucking. It's total. It's not. It's black and white. Last year we had about 10 injuries at this point last year already. We've got no injuries now. So I believe with science and the medical staff, if they are doing that, it's probably a good thing. But at the same time, I believe we could have started a stronger team than last night.
Oh, I mean, it's 11 changes.
For one, we could have started the 3 players on that pitch. You could have started in their right position, if you see what I'm saying. You could have started Viega left back, you could have started Disasi right back, and you could have started Dewsbury in the middle. So why would you play them out of position? So this is what strikes me. I don't think it's anything to do with science last night. Nothing to do with the players. It was the fucking manager. Manager and his inexperience going into this game and not fucking thinking of how Newcastle. He's still thinking we're playing against Panathinaikos and fucking what's that team? What's that team we played? Servette, all these teams. He's still thinking that, brother. He was probably thinking Newcastle are not going to play a strong team. We all knew Newcastle was coming out to win that game, brother, because you've just beat them on the Sunday. Think about it. They've just travelled all down to London. They've just took a fucking L. Yeah? And you've got them in the cup 3 days later. They're going to be fucking well up for it. They haven't won a cup in how many years? How could he pick that team yesterday? Where's his mentality, brother?
The other thing is that Eddie Howe is basically on the brink of being fired. Of course, he was going to pick his best lineup. Of course, his best player was going to start. By the way, imagine if Anthony Gordon started on the left and we had Disasi out there. What would we have done if they all of a sudden just said, "Hey, Anthony Gordon, go to the left"?
Disasi would have been cooked, and we would have conceded more goals.
We would have had to put Cucurella on the right and Disasi on the left. I mean, that would have been a disaster.
Yes. If I
was Eddie Howe, I would have put Anthony Gordon on the left immediately.
It wasn't, the biggest problem for me wasn't. I mean, the starting 11 we can obviously criticize, but I mean, I wasn't as negative as Kev going into the game. I mean, nobody wants to see Disasi at right back. But I thought, okay, well, let's see it. Let's see what happens. Just nothing changed. The only thing that we did was we brought Madueke on, and I thought, why did you left Reece James at home? You left Lavia, you left all these players. Caicedo didn't come, but you brought Cole Palmer, you brought Chukwuemeka, you brought Mark Guiu. Why not give these guys some minutes? That didn't make any sense to me. Maresca actually already answered the question, to be fair. He said that João Felix and Nkunku were doing a good job. So he didn't feel like Palmer needed to come on. I didn't understand that at all.
Based on what they did good? Felix missed a sitter one-on-one that he should have scored. And Felix was greedy yesterday on the ball. He kept shooting. He did nothing apart from running, shooting. He was so greedy yesterday. I don't know.
So before we go to Felix, I mean, what are we giving Dewsbury Hall as a rating? Because I actually really like Dewsbury Hall. I just want to say I think Dewsbury Hall's a good player. I think he's going to be an important player for us if we've still got Maresca as our manager, which I presume we will, in this system. And when he's playing his right position, I thought he was decent against Barra, and I thought he's probably the man of the match against Ghent. He's had bad games. This was certainly one of them, but I can't criticize him solely because he's not a right winger.
I'll give him a 3. What is it his fault? Come on, get Dewsbury Hall on this chat now and ask him how many times he's played right wing. He'd probably tell you never in his life. So why would you go and trial a centre midfielder at right wing in such a crucial game? It was a massive game yesterday. Let's be real. It's a chance for us to get silverware. So why would you trial your centre midfielder at right wing? So he's got a 3, and is it his fault? Manager's fault. And a lot of this performance was on the manager yesterday, unfortunately, and he's got to be real with it. So a 3, but not his fault. 3, manager. 3.
Do you agree with that, boys?
Yeah, I mean, I've got an easy solution for this, honestly. If you want to get Enzo out of the team, it would have just been Carney, Enzo, and Vega in the midfield. And then you maybe start Guiu, you put in Kunku at the wing or João Felix at the wing. But putting a player that's truly not a wing. I mean, we've got some athletic guys. Carney Chukwuemeka can play wing. And Kunku, Cole Palmer, João Felix, these guys can all play wing. Dewsbury Hall, like, flat out cannot play wing. He is a central midfielder. And I'm like Alex. I really like Kieran Dewsbury Hall. I wanted Dewsbury Hall on this team for about 2 years because every single time that we played him, he banged. He always had individually good performances against Chelsea. So I've always liked the guy. But, yeah, I mean, you could just tell he didn't have any confidence beating Lewis Hall one-on-one. So he would just cut the ball back because it was a safe option to retain the ball instead of losing it and instead of trying to beat his man, which he just can't do. It's not his skill set. So, that is on Maresca to put him in a position that he probably has never played before. So I'm just going to give him an NA instead of any grade because I just think it was not on him to be playing that position.
Okay, fair enough. Right, let's move on to João Felix.
Hey.
So gaming for life. I mean, you had some words to say earlier. I actually think that João Felix, although he missed those sitters, and I mean, he should have scored definitely. I think that he was not terrible. I would say that out of the front four, he looked the most promising to me. Although I've read some people in the comments saying that Mudryk, they quite like watching Mudryk. What's your take on that?
I mean, yeah, again, Mudryk's been our best forward since our last 4 cup games, so there's nothing really for me to say. Felix, for me, I don't know why he decided to start shooting, just being greedy on the ball. Like, he hasn't done this before. Normally, he would just feed in Nkunku, and normally would see Nkunku score. But I just don't know yesterday. But I think everyone was just not on it. Everyone just came in and didn't bring their shooting boots on. They were just scared the entire game because I don't know. Like, even the Drewsbury Hall thing, like, for me, what I would have done, I would have started Felix on the right.
Yeah.
Started Guiu as a striker and then Nkunku as a 10 because Nkunku on the wings does not work. No one can sit here and say it does. It does not work. Nkunku on the wings does not. He doesn't swim. It makes him so uncomfortable, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm with you. Do you agree with that, Carlito?
It's a better alternative than the one I gave. I like what he said. I like it. In terms of Felix as his performance, is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I completely disagree with your guy Lewis. Lewis did a video on this, which I found to be fucking ridiculous.
I don't think he was that bad as well.
No, I don't think
he weren't that bad, bro.
Lewis is a smart, thoughtful guy, so I don't normally attack his opinions. I really like Lewis, but he's completely wrong on this. I thought João Felix was one of the only players penetrating. I thought he was one of the only players being dangerous. Yeah, he was greedy, and that's a good word for it. But outside of the 1-2 that he had with Mudryk, where Mudryk played him a really nice ball into the 6 that he missed, there wasn't a lot of attacking impetus from the other players. Kieran Dewsbury Hall was not trying to be dangerous. And Nkunku was hiding behind the center backs. João Felix was really the only guy saying, okay, I'm just going to take this ball and I'm going to pursue space. And he's truly one of my favorite footballers and certainly probably my favorite player on Chelsea. I love João Felix. I'm a huge Felix guy. And I actually thought he was one of our best players yesterday. Because he was really one of the only players trying to score. Everybody else seemed to be pretty complacent to just pass the ball between the center mids and the center backs for 90 fucking minutes and not do anything. At least Felix was trying to do something. Everybody else felt pretty complacent outside of Mudryk, who's been very good lately. So I thought Felix was 7 out of 10. I thought he was good. And if he's going to be assertive, I don't really have a problem with that. I know he should have scored that goal. Normally he does. And by the way, when he takes these shots, whether it was for Atletico or Barcelona or Benfica or Portugal, they're normally on target. He's a good shooter. So I have no problem with him shooting. We used to have 2-3 years ago, we used to have issues at Chelsea with players just not shooting at all or getting blocked way too often. And it felt like we were just trying to pass the ball into the goal. And at least we have someone that's willing to shoot. So I'm totally fine with the way he played yesterday. He was frustrated. Clearly, he wants to play with the A team, not the B team, as he should. He's a very good player. But no, look, he penetrated with dribbles, and no one else seemed to give a shit. And so that's not on him. That's not on certainly not on him. And I completely disagree with the takes that he was bad. I thought he was one of our only bright spots.
Yeah. Do you think 7 is a fair rating?
Yeah, that's my take on it. Yep.
Fair enough. I mean, it's interesting talking about Mudryk as well, because I don't think Mudryk was that good, to be honest with you. I wasn't a massive fan of what I saw, for the reason that, honestly, I don't think I saw that much. So I'm not going to sit here and say it was crap, but I can't think of many things I saw, and I thought, well, that was good. So I mean, what's your take on Mudryk? Because I've read in the comments as well, a few people have said that they liked Mudryk in this game. I think Gaming for Life mentioned it as well. What did he do that? Yeah, because I really didn't see much, to be honest with you.
When he got the ball, he was good. But you're right. He should probably get the ball more. And this has been something that has been plaguing him his entire Chelsea career. It's that we don't feed him enough, and we certainly don't feed him enough in isolation, one-on-one against the outside back, which is when he is at his best, as well as in transition where you can play him behind the outside back and he can use his enormous pace.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, when he had the ball, his passes are always going to be good because he's a very, very good passer. And it's just, I mean, it's fair for you to say that you didn't see enough, because I didn't see enough either, but that's probably because we weren't giving him the ball enough. It was just Enzo.
Is that not also, like, I feel like as a player, you get the ball because you ask for the ball, you demand the ball.
Oh,
you
sure.
put yourself in a position where you want to receive the ball, and that's where Mudryk is a ghost at times. So people saying that Mudryk had a good game, I don't understand that logic. I don't understand it at all. I thought he was pretty average. I don't think he was much better. I mean, he was better than Dewsbury Hall, but I don't see like a massive difference. I didn't see him take on his man more than once, maybe twice in that game. Sometimes you just think like you've got an easy decision right now. Just use your pace. I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious if you tried. He just passes the ball backwards, which, if you're Dewsbury Hall, like we just spoke about, is obvious because he's not confident enough to dribble. That's not his natural position. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Mudryk's speciality is using his pace on the left wing, and he doesn't take advantage of it.
Well,
that is baffling.
There was one move in particular where he was double teamed. I think Livramento at that point had come back into the game. It was Anthony Gordon, and Livramento double teamed him. And Mudryk does this move when he's on the left-hand side where he shifts right, and then he takes the ball left down the line, and he does it really, really well. It's a very simple move, but because he's so fast, he almost gets away with it every time. And he completely fooled Gordon. And so Gordon bit, and then he shifted right, and he went left, and he beat his man. I thought that was one of the highlights of his game. But if I'm Mudryk and I'm going against a guy like Livramento, or if I'm going against a guy like Trent Alexander-Arnold, or any of those sort of average players defensively, I'm cooking them every time. Unless they really take away the line, which is one of the things that I think outside backs prioritize, is that Mudryk really wants to go on the outside of a defender. And a lot of times they'll press him from the outside in to force him to go inside, which is oftentimes a pass for him. And that's the way that I would defend him, because if I'm taking away the inside, he's going to cook me every time. So when you watch how they press him when he receives the ball, oftentimes they will take away the outside and they will push him towards passing a ball to one of the center mids. That's how they defend him, because if they don't take away the line, he will take it. And I noticed that yesterday the line wasn't there enough, or he didn't feel comfortable enough taking the line because the angle wasn't good enough, or maybe he was receiving the ball too far inside. That could be it too, because he wasn't getting the ball, so he decided to come and meet the ball. But yeah, there weren't enough opportunities for him to have enough space on the outside to beat the guy. But I saw one or two instances where he really cooked the player, and that's something that he should try to do every time, because he's incredible at it.
You know what? That's fair, isn't it? No, he had one or two moments. I'm with you there. I think that's the thing, though. Is it still underwhelming? Like I
Yes.
think, great, do it again. Come on, I want to.
Because
why
we
don't
know he can.
build on that momentum.
Yeah, we know he can. He's very good one-on-one. He's one of the 3 fastest players in the world. I mean, this is his bread and butter. It's why he's on the team. It's why he was called up to Ukraine when he was really young. It's why at 20 years old he was already one of the best players in Ukraine. So yeah, it's why he's on Chelsea. So it should be something that I think Maresca is encouraging with him. But I think yesterday they intentionally took that away from him.
Fair enough. Gaming for life. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, not really, like, we obviously know why Madrid is going to start, because I think Maresca wants to improve him, like, as in, like, in anything else to improving on. But I think his passing is good. But I think what he did a lot of last season, where he would just like rush the passing, he wouldn't take his time and look, but he would just, like, now he's just taking his time. He's know what he's doing. He's making the right decisions. So apart from that, yesterday, the only time you would only see him is when they would pass the ball to front to him. Most of the time, and all the game, the ball would just go onto the defenders or midfielders, would just keep passing at the back. But if Mudryk had the ball several times, we maybe would have scored him, because last time he had 2 assists and 1 goal, and he could have got himself, like, say, a goal and assist. But that's down to the midfielders and defenders and the forwards. The ball wasn't going up front. We were just too scared to attack him. So I can't really sit here say much on him.
Let me ask you this question, Alex, because I've noticed this. Now, last year, under Pochettino, I thought Mudryk was a mess. I thought that he was in his head way too much. I thought that he was having these individual battles with his own left back about where he should be, what run he should have, when he should get the ball, when he's not getting the ball enough. And I feel like this season, because Maresca has really made it a point publicly that he wants to improve him, I think Mudryk has absolutely improved as a player.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm with you there.
And yesterday is not a good example of it, mainly because he wasn't fed service enough. But I do think that he deserves more starts. He's like the complete opposite of Jadon Sancho as a player, which is fine because it's good to have both. I really like Sancho as well. Really do. But I think that he should be given more starts in the Premier League, especially against teams like Liverpool. And I'm actually pretty disappointed that he didn't start against Liverpool. I know that we're kind of rehashing something that already happened, but we lost that game. And that affects our placement in the table. You have to think about matchups. If he's going against Livramento, you have to start him. If he's going against TAA, you have to start him. Like they're going against defenders that are much more known for their attacking exploits. You have to start him. And I think that Maresca needs to give him a little bit more trust, because I think that he's earned the trust. I think that he has listened to the manager and he has improved what the manager has asked him to improve upon. And he's become a more efficient player who is also not in his head that much. I think that moving forward, especially on Sunday, I would like to see him start. Against
over who? Over Neto?
What? Say again?
Over Neto. You want to see Mudryk
No,
start?
I want him and Neto. I want him and Neto to be the starters.
So you want Neto on the right and Mudryk on the left side?
Yes, I do.
What do you think about that, Kev? Do you think Mudryk on the left, Neto on the right against United? Is that a good option, or do we stick with Madueke on the right side?
Mudryk on the left, Neto on the right.
Bloody hell, you're loud.
Loud. Loud. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can definitely hear you.
Oh, it's this new mic, brother. I'm telling you, it fucking works wonders.
Why
bro.
have you got a headset? Sorry. I thought you were speaking through the mic on the headset.
That headset, I can hear in through that, and I speak through that.
Oh, I thought that you were using the mic on the headset. Sorry.
Nah. This mails are not even been there because I'm speaking for. Yeah. Mudryk on the left, and it was on the right.
Neto.
Mudryk on the left, Neto on the right. Mudryk would have started for me, mate. After last night, no fucking chance, mate.
Oh.
That was his chance. That was his chance last night, bro, to do something. He done fuck all.
Yeah, but Jadon Sancho ain't gonna start against United on Sunday.
Can't play.
Neto on Madueke. No, say on Madueke. better Madueke.
But here's my retort to that. I thought that Madueke had a stinker against Newcastle.
What?
Do you know what? I would.
Last
No.
weekend.
Hang on a second. I want to see Palmer start on the right against United. I actually want to see him back in the position.
Mm.
Wait, what? Who
I
in
would
the
like to
middle?
see Palmer on the right.
What, Felix in the middle?
No, I wouldn't start
Jones.
Felix. I wouldn't start Felix.
So he would have started in the camp. He would have started in the camp then.
I would just start Lavia and Caicedo. Have them two.
Yeah, but you've got another space.
So what formation you playing, bro?
In Kunku, I'm giving Kunku a chance.
And Kunku below Jackson.
No, Jackson will be a striker and Kunku will be the number 10 in the midfield.
Not a bad shout, but we seen last night with Nkunku, mate. Where the fuck was he? Have we got that far up the pitch yet?
No, but like he wasn't getting delivered that much.
Yeah. So Nkunku, what the fuck, man?
He stayed on the bus.
What a fucking lazy performance, brother. What a lazy.
And we both know he ain't gonna start on the wings. He's rubbish on the wings,
mate. I was up until the last couple of weeks. I was like, Nkunku needs to start for me because I think he's a better player, better finisher. But there's more to football than you're relying solely on your finishing ability.
But Jackson offers more than him.
It's about everything else you do. Like Jackson last night would have had a field day.
Oh yeah.
How much times we was on the halfway line and there was a fucking gap from here to fucking Manhattan in New York. From my house, there's a fucking gap, that big to exploit.
Kevin, I've never talked to you about this. I actually think Jackson is an incredible footballer.
He's good.
He's awesome.
Listen, it takes me a fucking very long time to be on the fence of a player. Like, I will fucking pick out the negatives and fucking ride on them until he wasn't finishing enough for me. Now he's finishing. Yeah. He can be the complete striker. Yeah, now he's finishing a lot more one-on-one draws. He finished one. Okay, it wasn't quite a one-on-one weekend just gone, but the week before he got put through against West Ham. He finished that, so he's finishing a lot more chances than his conversion rate's better. I think he's got 9 goals this year, so he's doing better than last year. So
I've never had doubt with Jackson.
But no, but
hands up. He's completely killed. And Kinky, yeah, probably a better finisher. But that's the only thing he's got on Jackson. Jackson's got better movement. He's more physical. He runs the lines better. He fucking connects the midfield to the tap better. Fucking everything.
But I'm referring to him as just a footballer. It's his dribbling ability. It's his turning. It's his combination play. It's his runs. It's his intelligence because he's a very smart player. And it's the two things that he's corrected this season that he was killing us last season. Offsides and finishing one-on-ones with the goalkeeper. Yeah. I think that he is, for the large part, corrected both those things, and those were the two things holding him back: offsides and one-on-one finishes with the goalkeeper, because he's always going to get in behind the center backs. Yeah. He's always going to.
I do agree. He's very smart, and I realized this. I was getting frustrated. We went to the Liverpool game, and I was getting frustrated with him because he was literally just sitting. He wasn't moving much. But he was just sitting either on the shoulder Canute that side or sitting on the shoulder of Van Dijk that side. But he wasn't moving. And I could see what he was doing. He was just waiting for that moment just to spin bang on the back. As soon as we scored that goal straight away from the second half at Anfield, that's what he's wanted to do. He's very smart. Yeah. We think sometimes he's being lazy, but he's not. He's just waiting for that moment to turn, bang, gone. And he knows he's got the pace.
Studying the center backs. He studies the center backs. He looks to see where their weaknesses
he's
are.
Smart. He's smart.
Oh, I think he's a brilliant player. But I'm looking at, because the way that we're going to play depends on, what United's going to do. I think that we should always consider what United will do. And this is what they did in the back line.
We better not lose to United on Sunday.
I think Van Nistelrooy may actually go with this, because this is a tweak on what his predecessor was doing. In the back, Martinez, Lindelof, De Ligt, and Dallo. So consider those outside backs when you're considering our wings. If Mudryk is going against Dallo, I think
who's the left back?
Martinez, the short guy.
As a left back?
That's where they played him.
Oh.
Thing is, I'm not worried about our midfield against United because I know our midfield is just going to dominate United's midfield. Their
Don't
best
worry about
players,
that at all.
Casemiro.
Well, we've got legs in midfield.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, if you look at Bruno, for example, Bruno's always rubbish in the big game.
Oh, mate, he's awful. So
Dude,
I'm
he's
not
gonna
worried
get
about
swallowed
that.
up by Caicedo and Lavia. He won't do shit.
No, because Caicedo and Lavia will absolutely cook that midfield. I'm not worried.
Yeah, not worried about that at all. But just the outside backs, I just think that pure speed would do damage against that man. You're looking at Neto and Mudryk. For me, it's where I'm going. But Madueke is a good player. But I don't know. I like the other two a little more.
Could we see another Palmer hat trick on Sunday on Old Trafford?
I think you guys are putting a lot of pressure on this player. I think a lot of pundits are putting a lot of pressure on Cole Palmer.
No, because we need to hype it up so then Alex is going to cry like last year at Stamford Bridge when Palmer got that hat trick, the winner.
Hey, man, listen, if we have anything like that, I will cry again.
That was a shocking game where we still managed to pull it back.
I was proud to cry. If you didn't cry, are you even a football fan?
Bro, I was sitting in my
office as a neutral.
I was sitting in my office. My boss knocks on the door and says, "Ryan, are you okay?" I'm like, "I am not okay. This is amazing."
Do you know what it was? I was literally, I think I was watching the game, and when I saw they scored Garnacho 3-2, I'm like, "Yeah." I turned my TV off. I'm like, "Yeah, we lost. I'm done." And as soon as I see on my phone, "Oh, Chelsea penalty," I'm like, "Hold on, what?" Yeah, I just turned my TV on and I started watching. I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, because we were in overtime and Mount was like getting the ball and he got fouled.
Oh, he got booed. Like they put on Mount, and regardless, they still lost.
You know, but he was talking shit because they were up 3-2.
Yeah, and then Enzo
we scored 2 goals, and then Fernandez motherfucked him after.
Oh yeah, he just went up to him.
So good, man.
Boys, I've thoroughly enjoyed this call-in show. We've been going for over 2 hours. So listen, I just want to thank everyone in the chat for coming. Guys, if you haven't already smashed the like button on YouTube or X, please do. It makes a massive difference. It does help. Just smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already as well.
Don't be an Arsenal.
Don't be an Arsenal fan. That's it. There you go. Listen, I want to thank Kev for coming on, Carlito, Gaming for Life as well. Appreciate you all in the panel. I think we've had some good debates, good conversations on the players as well. We're going to be doing previews for the United game from tomorrow, so stay tuned for them. We're going to do lots and lots of we're going to have lots of stuff coming out regarding that. But listen, we've got a lot of pressure on Maresca. He's got to get a result at Old Trafford, otherwise there will be some questions.
Wait, have we not beaten them since 2013 at Old Trafford? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. It's been a very long time.
Oh my god.
So listen, we'll see what happens. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching. We will be back very, very soon. All the best and up the Chelsea.
Up the Chelsea.